Have you picked your horse yet?
It won't do me any good.
The only thing, if I pick a horse, the only thing it says is it's going to lose. So, yeah. I mean, I can eliminate them for you, but I can't pick the winners.
Yeah, with me.
Well, hopefully this bad weather that we're having today is going to blow through. And by the time the Oaks comes around tomorrow, we're going to have blue skies and 70-degree temperature, and it's just going to be a perfect weekend for the Derby.
I hope so. Yeah. So were they letting 60% in? Is that what?
That's what I understand. I've talked to a few people that seem to know, and apparently they're actually putting covers over the boxes in between the boxes that are not being occupied, so that you have not only is it not been sold, but it's got a cover on it to where people can't just come in and stand and occupy space that's too close to the other boxes. At least that's what I've been told. So that's good.
That's good.
Yep, good.
Sounds like they're trying to be careful about it all, and hopefully people are vaccinated, and then it won't be nearly as problematic.
Getting back to some normality anyway, right?
I hope so. I hope so.
We'll give them a couple more minutes here, Winston, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm going to ask Tracy how we're doing on attendance. Tracy?
We've got 7 right now, so we don't yet have a quorum.
Okay. Well, we'll give people a little bit more time to join us.
As far as I know,
everyone have the agenda on their screen.
I see it, Jeremy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
take that back. We actually do have 8. So that would be a quorum because we have 15 members total. So I don't know if you want to, the only one we know that was not going to be able to make the meeting was Katie Smith, who is the proxy for interim secretary Larry Hayes. And then I think maybe Secretary Johnson was going to be a little bit late, but that's all we heard that wasn't going to be here.
We'll give them a couple more minutes,
Okay.
Tracy, if it's okay.
Sure. I know what happens to me sometimes is I have the event marked on my calendar, but I forgot to copy the link to the meeting into the calendar event, and so then I need to go back to the invitation and find that in my emails to then link in. So maybe other people are having that dilemma, that problem.
I do the same thing, Winston.
Yeah. If I just copy it in when I get it, then I wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, I won't admit to that.
Well, I'm so technologically, challenged. You can't believe the kind of problems I have. Just signing up.
I can
That sounds like me.
Okay, so it's 5 after. So let's go ahead and get started since we do have a quorum, Tracy. And would you confirm that for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like we do have a quorum and the press has been notified, and I'll just do a reminder to everybody to, when they make a motion or a second, if they could please say their name prior to. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. So this meeting is called to order. And so I think everybody's probably had a chance to look at the minutes of the meeting held on March 25th, 2021. If there are no additions or corrections, I would entertain a motion that those be approved.
This is George. I'll move to approve them.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
This is Jerry Yates. I'll second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay. So the next item of business is an inducement resolution for Lower Hunter's Trace. Tracy Thurston, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members of the board. Today I've got a handful of bond resolutions for you, as usual. There's a few more this month. Some of you may or may not know, but we closed our Texas bond application in multifamily for about 6 months and opened it up last month. So you're seeing some projects come in, and the result is about 5 inducement resolutions today. So this first one is for Lower Hunter's Trace. This project is requesting bonding authority in amount not to exceed $20 million. It involves a new construction of 168 units in Louisville. The project will serve 30 households at or below 30% AMI, 108 households at or below 60% AMI, and 30 households at or below 80% AMI. The development team is listed there on your screen. As with other inducement resolutions you've seen, as this project progresses, it will be brought back to the board to authorize the issuance and sale of tax-exempt bonds through the approval of a separate resolution. And staff recommends approval of the inducement resolution for Lower Hunter's Trace.
Okay, do any members have any questions of Tracy about this project? If not, I'll entertain a motion that this be approved.
It's Gail. I'll make the motion that we approve the resolution.
Okay, thank you, Gail. And do I have a second?
This is George. I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, George. So we have a motion and a seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. So Tracy, you get crossing at Mill Creek.
Thank you. This is the inducement resolution for Crossing at Mill Creek Apartments. Crossing at Mill Creek Apartments is requesting bonding authority in amount not to exceed $22,300,000. This project involves the acquisition and new construction of 180 units located in Louisville, Kentucky. The project will serve 90 households at or below 30% AMI and 90 households at or below 80% AMI. The development team is listed there on your screen. And once again, this project will be brought back to the board of directors to authorize the issuance and sale of the tax-exempt bonds with a separate resolution, and staff recommends approval.
Do any members have any questions of Tracy?
I just have a comment. I asked for the bedroom breakdown, and this actually will have a significant number of 3-bedroom units, which I consider to be great. I don't know how many of them will be in the 30% of AMI, but still, that's good. The other Louisville project also had a spread between 1, 2, and 3, and I think, and I'm just going to say this now for all the projects that have come to Louisville that I've seen, I'm impressed at the spread of bedrooms and the care for the community. And then, I mean, I know I'm choosing Manslick, which may not be the best, but there is some geographic spread of the units. So thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, and we have updated our board agenda item document, our template now, to include the breakdown of bedroom sizes and number of units by bedroom. So you'll see that going forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other members have any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the inducement resolution for crossing at Mill Creek.
I'll move.
Okay.
It's Kathy Hinko. Sorry. Kathy Hinko.
Do I have a second?
I second it's Gail.
Okay, Gail. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose like sign. Motion carries. Okay, Tracy, so inducement resolution for Bowling Green Tires.
Thank you. Bowling Green Towers project, Bowling Green Towers Apartments project is requesting bonding authority an amount not to exceed $22,500,000. The project involves the acquisition, rehab, and construction of 202 units in Bowling Green. The project will serve 202 units at or below 60% AMI. The development team is listed there on the screen. You might want to scroll down a little bit. And again, like the others, we will bring this back to the board for a separate resolution to authorize the issuance and sale of the tax-exempt bonds. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, do any members have any questions or comments they want to make about this project?
Again, I asked Tracy, because I've only worked really in Louisville, about protections for tenants when they have, a protected rent. And there are some additional protections, although Warren County and Bowling Green do not have the Uniform Residential Landlord Tenant Act. But I am sanguine that there are enough protections for these tenants. Thank you.
I would like to say that I have known the owners of the management company for years, and they're first class. And apparently the POC, Alexandria Jacque, is a friend of mine, though I haven't talked to her for a year, and she's a former president of the National Apartment Association, so I'm not sure we could get any better.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Kathy. Any other members have any questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we approve this inducement resolution.
So moved, Gail.
Okay, and I need a second.
This is Jerry Yates. I'll second.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. So Tracy, inducement resolution for Shawnee Renaissance Apartments.
Thank you. The Shawnee Residence Apartments is requesting bonding authority in an amount not to exceed $19,370,000. It involves the rehabilitation of 173 existing units and 4 new construction units located in Louisville at various addresses. The project consists of 26 separate properties that will be consolidated into 4 tax credit properties that will serve families at or below 60% AMI. This project also has a project-based rental contract on it. The development team members are listed there on your screen, and it will be brought back to you all for a separate resolution to authorize the issuance and sale of the bonds. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, any members have any questions or comments?
It's Kathy. I like saying nice things about because you know what a pain I can be. It's in 5, I think, zip codes, 4 or 5 zip codes, and and I'm not saying that it's not high impact areas, but it is spread out, and I just think this is a really nice approach to delivering affordable housing. Thank you.
Yeah,
We like hearing nice things, Kathy.
And I'll just add, from what I understand, these units haven't had any kind of substantial rehab in 30 years, so it's definitely needed.
Mm-hmm.
Any other members have any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve this inducement resolution.
Kathy Hinko, I move to approve.
Thank you. Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. So Tracy, we have an inducement resolution for Starks redevelopment.
So the Starks redevelopment project is requesting bonding authority in amount not to exceed $68 million. The project involves the rehabilitation of 264 existing units for families at 60% AMI or below. The project is located at 455 South 4th Street in Louisville. The development team is listed on your screen. This will be brought back for a separate resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of the tax-exempt bonds, and staff recommends approval.
Okay, any members have any questions or comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion that this be approved.
So moved, Gail.
So Gail has moved and need a second.
This is George. I'll second it.
Thank you, George. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. So Tracy, you have one more final resolution for the alcove. Is that how you pronounce that at Russell Cave?
Yes, it is. Thank you. So this is the final resolution to authorize the sale and issuance of bonds for the alcove at Russell Cave. The alcove at Russell Cave project was granted an inducement resolution from the board on August 27th, 2020 for bonding authority in amount not to exceed $30 million. The project involves a new construction of 202 units serving families at or below 60% AMI in Lexington. The development team members are on the screen. This project is looking to close, I believe, within a week or two. And staff recommends approval by the board of directors of this final resolution for the issuance of bonds for the alcove at Russell Cave.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Any members have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion that this be approved.
I make the motion.
Okay, we
PG.
have a motion and I need a second.
Second, Gail.
Okay, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, Tracy, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay. Now, Tammy, you're going to talk about the personal service contract with Hannah Resource Group. Is that right? Is she on with us?
Actually, it appears Tammy's not on with us. So I will do my best to present this on her behalf.
Okay.
This would be a personal service contract with Hannah Resource Group. We use Hannah Resource Group to consult with our HR department on primarily around our compensation system and salary structure, job titles, and what job titles fit in what pay grade within our structure. They've been working with us for some time now. This would be, bear with me, I wasn't going to present this. I believe that this is a renewal. It is a renewal. We procured this last year. HRG was awarded the contract. Like most state contracts, our contracts come with a 2-year renewal at KHC's option. So this would be the first renewal of the contract that was approved last year. It would be in an amount not to exceed $21,600, which is consistent with last year's contract, and staff recommends approval.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept this authorization?
It's PG. I make the motion.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
This is Jerry Yates. I'll second.
Thank you, Jerry. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So Kevin Field, authorization to renew a personal service contract with Regulatory Solutions.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is agenda item number 10, and it's a resolution number 21 for the authorization to renew a personal service contract with Regulatory Solutions. KHC requires the performance of quality control reviews in accordance with Fannie Mae, FHA, VA, and RHS. So following a request for proposals in March of 2019, Regulatory Solutions was selected by the review committee from the two responding entities. This would be the second renewal of the contract. So KHC staff recommends approval of Resolution 21 to enter into a contract or renew a contract with Regulatory Solutions for fiscal year 22 in amount not to exceed $130,000.
Do any members have any questions or comments?
If I may interrupt real quick, Mr. Yates, we need your video on, please. For some reason, your video went off. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Anybody have any questions of Kevin in regard to this authorization? Not, I'll entertain a motion that we accept this authorization.
Phil Moffitt, I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you. I need a second.
That's PG, I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, Katrina Miller, authorization to enter into a PSC for Sturl and Reddick. Do you want to explain that to us, please?
Sure, I will. This is item number 11 on the agenda. This is requesting authorization to enter into personal service contracts with two law firms who would provide legal representation for us in foreclosure and bankruptcy proceedings in our loan servicing operations. So KHC did a request for proposal and selected from the firms who responded, two firms. The first is Sterling and Reddick. Second is Septimus Taylor. These are both new contracts, although KHC has been in contracts with these firms before, and the review committee certainly found their prior work to be satisfactory and are excited to continue forward with them. So we are here today to recommend approval by the board of a resolution authorizing KHC to enter into personal service contracts for legal representation in foreclosure and bankruptcy proceedings with Sterling and Reddick in an amount not to exceed $1,200,000 and Septimus Taylor in an amount not to exceed $750,000 for the fiscal year ending 2022. A majority of these funds are reimbursable to us by the insuring agencies on these loans. So with that, we will ask for board approval.
Okay, thank you, Katrina. And Katrina, you've used these before. Are these Kentucky firms?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any members have any questions or comments of Katrina? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt this authorization.
He will make a motion.
Okay, thank you. And I need a second, please.
This is George. I'll second it.
Thank you, George. All right, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Katrina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jim Statler, you're going to talk about the authorization to allocate the bond volume cap.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead.
Afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm here on agenda item number 12, request authorization to allocate bond volume cap for the mortgage credit certificate program. To continue fulfilling the mission of Kentucky Housing Corporation to provide safe, decent, affordable housing opportunities, KHC seeks approval by the Board of Directors of Kentucky Housing Corporation to allocate additional resources to the mortgage credit certificate program. To issue MCCs, KHC must elect to not issue a certain amount of mortgage revenue bonds. A MCC provides housing assistance in the form of a non-refundable federal income tax credit, which is equal to a portion of the mortgage interest paid by the homeowner. The holder of an MCC may apply this tax credit against his or her federal income taxes each year the MCC is in effect. So basically, the MCC program, which we've done now for, I think, 5 consecutive years, by allocating some of our revenue bond cap to the MCC program, allows a certain percentage of a borrower's interest payments to be taken as a direct tax credit off of their otherwise payable income taxes. And it's a tremendous benefit and an excellent use of bond cap that we would not otherwise possibly be able to use. As a result, KHC recommends approval by the board of a resolution authorizing KHC to file an election with the IRS to not issue mortgage revenue bonds in an aggregate amount not to exceed $137,574,871. This provides an opportunity to use all remaining bonding authority carried forward from 2018, which bonding authority would otherwise expire on December 31 of 2021.
Okay, Jim, thank you so much. Any members have any questions of Jim? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this authorization.
I'll move this, Holly.
Okay, thanks, Holly. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Jim, you're still up for an authorization to enter into a PSC with various real estate agencies. So would you explain that to us, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is agenda item number 13, where management is requesting authorization to enter into personal service contracts with various real estate agencies and or brokers to provide marketing and disposition services for KHC's real estate owned single-family housing portfolio. Kentucky Housing Corporation requests approval to enter into personal service contracts with various agencies as needed real estate services for the marketing and disposition of our REOs for fiscal year 2022. Following a request for proposals process in 2020, and I apologize for that typo, that actual RFP went out in 2020 in anticipation of the fiscal 21 listing, KHC selected various real estate agencies and or brokers as listed on the attachment to the resolution to provide marketing and disposition services for our REO single-family housing portfolio, again, correcting the date for fiscal year end 2021. Kentucky Housing Corporation has the option of renewing the contracts for 2 consecutive years following the initial contract term. KHC recommends approval by the board of directors of a resolution authorizing the corporation to enter into the personal service contracts with various real estate agencies and or brokers in an aggregate amount not to exceed a total of $400,000 for fiscal year 2022.
Hey, any members have any questions of Jim?
It's Kathy. I had asked for minority and female-owned breakdown, and at least as far as Black-owned businesses, I think it's 12% of the 33%, which, so I'm used to Louisville. That would be low, but maybe it's not low for the state. The state has a lower Black percentage of Black residents. So I think that's okay. Would love to see that go up in terms of participation, because brokers, that's that really is a place where we could make some change. So, but I'm fine.
Ms. Hinko, by way of some explanation, the makeup of our loan portfolio is such that we only take title to properties that were insured by the Rural Housing Agency. And so if there's a HUD loan or a VA loan or a Fannie Mae loan on the conventional side that goes to REO, those entities take title to the real estate and market the real estate themselves. And so we will have a disproportionate exposure that is different than the portfolio exposure of our loans, because the only properties we actually take title to via the foreclosure process are basically in the rural parts of the state, because those are the only parts of the state that RHS will actually lend in. We are vigilant. I mean, last year, we actually put this out for a second proposal, request for proposal to try to get more minority participation, women-owned agents in participation, and actually did add several as a result of that extra effort. But again, it's the product is not in the major urban areas, and it's pretty much out in the rest of the state. And in fact, I think we're down to just one REO in the entire corporate portfolio right now because of the foreclosure forbearance or moratorium and the loan forbearance that all the insuring and agencies have in process. So it's a potentially a hollow victory to be on the list because we don't have a whole lot of properties that which is fortunate. I mean, that we won't have a whole lot of foreclosed properties to market.
And also
Can
go ahead, Kathy, I'm sorry.
I know I sounded stern, but let me say within a nanosecond of asking for that breakdown, I had it. You guys are very aware and you're on top of it. I didn't mean to imply you're not trying. I just, there you go.
Jim, also in the true, you all cannot foreclose on a property at this time unless it is vacant. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. The foreclosure moratorium is such that if it's occupied, and we cannot verify that it's occupied by the people that own the property, but if it is occupied, we can't foreclose on it. And if it has been abandoned, then we not only may foreclose on it, but we're required by FHA and the insuring and guaranteeing agencies to do so.
Any other members have any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to authorize this PSC.
Phil Moffitt, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
This is Jerry Yates, I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Jim. Christina Keys, you got a personal service contract with Crow?
Yes. To begin with, since this is my first board meeting, I'll introduce myself. I'm the controller now since the retirement of Derek Van Meter. So I have a...
Well, let me say welcome to you. Thank you. We welcome you aboard, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
I have a agenda item, resolution number 25 for the authorization to enter into a personal service contract with Crow LLP for audit of financial statements. KHC is charged with the responsibility of having a comprehensive audit performed on the financial books and records of KHC at least annually in order to comply with certain bond indenture agreements, annual contribution contracts with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and other statutory requirements. This is a RFP that was completed in 2021. And as has been in the case in the past, Jim Statler's son is a senior manager at Crow in their New York office. This has been determined to not create a conflict. Also, Mr. Statler did not participate in the selection committee for audit services. KHC staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Okay, do any members have any questions or comments for Christina? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion that this authorization be approved.
So moved, Gail.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
BG, second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Christina, you did a wonderful job. So you got this passed unanimously. So,
Thank you.
okay. So the next item of business is I need a motion to enter into closed session. We have a specific personnel matter that we need to discuss. It's not a general personnel matter. It's a specific one. And do I have a motion that we enter into closed session, please?
This is George. I'll make a motion that we enter into a closed session to discuss a specific personnel matter.
Thank you, George. Do I have a second?
Kathy, I'll second.
Thank you, Kathy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. So Jeremy, at this point, since you are the host, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can put everyone else in the waiting room and we can listen to your situation here. Okay.
Thank you, sir. If everyone will just bear with me, it will take me a moment to get the non-board members into the waiting room. Okay, I believe everyone is back in. Most importantly, Tracy Butler's back in. Which
Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay. Thank you, Jeremy. All right, so that leads us to informational items. And Jeremy, while you're on stage there, why don't you give us an update about the pension situation and what has happened since our last board meeting, where we are with that?
Yes, sir. So everyone may recall that under the statute that allowed us the option of electing out of the Kentucky retirement system, we were required to provide an application and numerous documents to Kentucky Retirement by tomorrow. I happily report that that was accomplished this morning, with the exception of one document, which was the minutes from the last meeting, which just got approved in this meeting. So those will be provided to the today. All documentation will have been submitted to Kentucky KPPA. I forget what they've changed their official name to, but the initials are KPPA, formerly known as KRS. All documentation to effectuate that exit will have been provided to them by the end of the day today.
Okay, do any members have any questions, Jeremy? Thank you, Jeremy, for the excellent work. Okay, Jim Statler. Jim, do you have an information item that you need to bring up today?
Yes, sir. I am happy to report that by agreement between Kentucky Housing and Kentucky Higher Education Student Loan Corporation, that we will get, KHC will get the entire state issuer pool bond cap that would have been awarded to the Commonwealth, totaling just short of $300 million. This bond cap is used primarily for the conduit bond program that Tracy presented so many resolutions for earlier today. And then to the extent that is not used for the multifamily efforts, it is used for the mortgage credit certificate efforts. Typically, Kentucky Housing and Kieslick, or the Student Loan Corp, split the private pool, or the state issuer pool, 50-50. But in an acknowledgement to our acute need for more bond cap and the fact that they have not particularly been big consumers of bond cap, graciously elected to allow us to request the entire amount of the state issuer pool of just short again of the $300 million. So it was a very generous offer by Student Loans. And I told them so. We were on a phone conversation today with the executive director and their finance people. But it's truly a win for us. It's a win for the Commonwealth. And it actually assists us in replenishing a piece of pool bond cap that we did not get last year because there was a big user of the local issuer pool, which we would normally get if there was not any great participation in that. And so we had a gap coming out of the 2020 bond cap allocation, and getting this extra out of the 21 will help fill that gap. So it's truly a win for us. It's a win for particularly multifamily housing, and it's a win for the Commonwealth. So that's just good news.
And how much extra, Jim, do you anticipate?
Well, the state pool, the full amount allocated to the state is $492 million. 60% of that is allocated to the state issuer pool, normally shared 50-50 between KHC and student loans. And so had that been the 50-50 this year, we'd each gotten about $150 million. Instead, we're going to get we'll get all of the $300 million, and they've agreed to not take any bond cap from the 2021 pool. Now, there's also a possibility that the remaining local issuer pool won't be consumed by any big users. Last year, Nucor got all of the local issuer pool, and I think some of the energy pool as well. And it remains to be seen after the pending the Kippaback meeting sometime in May. I don't have the exact date. I think it's May 21st to see what kind of other applications are in potentially consuming some of the local issuer pool. But we'll take the extra 150 in the state issuer pool any day.
Okay, thank you for that explanation, and sounds like really good news. So Winston Miller, do you have any informational items you want to bring to the board?
Actually, I'm pleased to say, if you can hear me, Mr. Chairman, that Jeremy and Jim Statler have covered the items that I think need to be covered. Good meeting today. Thank you all very much for your attendance and participation. As always, if you have any questions between meetings or any comments that you want to share with us between meetings, please feel free to get in touch with myself or any of the members of the staff here. Thank you.
Okay, and Winston, would you take my and the board's appreciation for the employees' professionalism and their excellent work that they do? Would you convey that to them for us, please?
Absolutely. And I will say that, you know, the decision to exit the pension system has not been easy for many of those employees, but they've all taken it very professionally and have observed, in most cases, and concurred in our judgment that it was the thing to do for the corporation, even though it may not have been the best thing for some of them individually. But I think we're going to, I'm hopeful that our employees will stay with us, and I believe that to be the case, and that we are going to continue to do the sort of great things that this organization has done historically. But I certainly will pass along your and the board members' appreciation for that, and I'm sure that they will take comfort with that.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. I'm totally impressed with the wonderful job that they do, and anyway, I appreciate people who do excellent work. So that leads us to the items from the board or the staff of things that are not on the agenda. Do any board members have anything, first of all?
I do. It's Kathy.
Okay.
I just sent Winston and other staff of KHC a new Zillow report, which shows that home ownership by Black households in Louisville have a 37.9% gap compared to white households, and that is 25.5% larger than the national home ownership rate gap between Black residents and white residents. And I would propose that KHC work with Louisville and really develop an intentional strategy, because we don't want to have a city that has one of the worst rates of Black home ownership versus white home ownership, and not in the whole country. And I know, you know, I have found this stuff to be fabulous. So I'm just saying, let's get together and do this intentionally to work out a strategy so that we are not at the bottom in terms of intergenerational wealth for Black households.
Kathy, thank you for passing that report on to us, and we look forward to having more discussions with you and others about what we can do to assist in remedying this situation and making things in a more equitable way in the future.
Winston, it's Gail. Does anyone have the numbers statewide?
I don't have them, certainly not available to me right at this moment. I think they're available, but whether they're as up to date as these Zillow numbers are, I'm not, I don't know.
The reason
we'll look into that.
I'm sorry. The reason I ask is that we are the Kentucky Housing Corporation.
Right.
I understand Lexington, Louisville, Owensboro, and those, but it would be interesting to see as a whole where Kentucky stands versus the big cities. That's all.
Thank you.
Any other members, any other directors have any comments?
In this, Barry, Kathy, can you share that documentation with the other members as well?
Well, I thought Am I? Yeah, I mean, Winston or one of the staff members, can you, or Tracy, I can send it to you to send to everybody, get everybody's email address. Happy
I
to.
can
Happy
get
to.
it out there.
Happy to
Yeah.
share it, and then the link to the Zillow report so that you can read the report itself. We've had conversation with one of the researchers at Zillow, and so he sends us reports and then highlights Louisville. But it may have stuff about the state, Gail. I don't know. I didn't get to pour over it yet.
I would hope they do, since Zillow's all over the place, and people with them in every even small town. So that would shine a bigger light on the big problem, rather, if there is one, than just narrowing it out to Louisville.
Okay, thank you all. Good discussion. Any other items that the board wants to discuss? What about staff? Any other staff members have anything? Okay, so the next item is adjournment. I want to wish you all a happy Oaks and Derby Day, and remind you to go easy on the mint juleps. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Gail.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.